Hey everyone, in front of the camera here, I have a number 25 Barlow by Great Eastern Cutlery. This is actually part of a special factory order from Mike Latham of CollectorKnives.net. Now this is part of a 2017 run of the number 25 pattern, which, if you look at the history of Great Eastern Cutlery, has been a very popular pattern, and a lot of 25s have sold for well over their MSRP on the secondary market. So this is actually one of the 4 knives that was in the special factory order for 2017 on the number 25 pattern. He also had a dark kind of a burlap micarta. He had a polished stag, a red, kind of light red saw cut bone, and he also had this one, which was a ironwood, labeled as ironwood and not desert ironwood. I'm not sure if it is a little different. There are different species of ironwood, but it was not labeled specifically as desert ironwood. There were also 4 Tidute cutlery runs of the number 25 that were not special factory orders, and that had an OD green linen micarta, a jigged bone, which I think was called goldenrod, a white acrylic, I think they called unicorn acrylic, and also a pioneer bone. These are all in North, but these 4 that were in, well, I only have 1 in front of the camera, but the 4 that were part of Mike Latham's special factory order through GEC were all Northfield unexcelled, but instead of having mere polished blades, we have satin finished blades, which he does a lot on his special factory orders, and there's no etching as well. Now, looking at this is ironwood covers. We'll take a look at the tube really quick just to get an idea. So we have Northfield premium pocket knives, hammer tested, frozen forged, 1095 carbon steel. Typical if you're used to seeing the Northfield sticker on a lot of GEC knives. And this is a special factory order for collector knives of Mike Latham in Oklahoma. Actually, a very good place to buy knives. That and Knives Shipped Free are 2 of my preferred retailers for Great Eastern Cutlery knives, and just overall, they do a great job, especially Mike Latham. These coming in at, these were under $100. Great price. Mike Latham does not seem to upcharge any of his Great Eastern Cutlery. He seems to have the lowest prices of all the retailers. So let's take a look here. We got number 25, 2 for spear point main blade, 1 for 1 single blade, and 17 for 2017. As I said, this is an ironwood. It does not say desert ironwood, it just says ironwood. No sticker on the back of the tube. So take a look at this. I've seen many variations in the ironwood covers. Some of them are even darker than this, and some of them are pretty much light all throughout. This one just kind of has a lighter streak here, a little bit on the back as well, but it's very dark. Still looks great. I really was hoping for something that was closer to the desert ironwood knife that I have from Barker River, which is a Little Creek. Barker River Little Creek here. This is in desert ironwood. I was hoping for something close to that look, that lighter look, and I think there are some out there in that run, but I think I'm still satisfied with this. Still looks great. I mentioned the other handle cover materials before. I went with the ironwood because I'm kind of I don't know, I really like the way a lot of the woods that GEC does, how they turn out. Looking at the darker burlap micarta, I think that might have been my second choice, and probably my third choice would have been that red saw cut bone. These are available on the secondary market now, but usually inflated prices, unless you get lucky. I think all the 25s are like that. They early reserves on Mike Latham's site. These went up really. These filled up really quick, and I think for good reason. The 25 is a very popular pattern. It's because it's just kind of that, nice, really teeny knife, but well constructed. Feels like a rugged knife that's going to be able to get everything done for you. So I love the way these turned out. They've run the 25s before, and just to kind of give you a comparison, I no longer have it, but I do have another 25. Where did that go? Ah, there it is. Non-Barlow model with an easy open notch and Mexican Bacote wood with a sheep's foot rather than that spear point. This one was made in 2015? Yep, 2015. And along with these Great Easterns that they ran in 2017 here, they also ran some Northwoods marked as the Little Bay with a Northwood shield on the bolsters and a clip point with the rustic finish that Northwoods does. And they were, of course, more expensive than Great Eastern cutlery knives. And those sold out really quick. I remember looking at the site when those dropped, and it was probably about 10 minutes or so when everything was claimed for on Derek Bone's site over there at Knife Ship Free. But let's check this out here. This is a Barlow as opposed to a Jack, which has a smaller bolster, such as in this 2015 run of the 25s. So we have the elongated bolsters. And this is pretty cool because the previous 25 Barlow I had, which I have a video on, I don't actually own that anymore, had the unexcelled engraved into the blade. And said we have the unexcelled engraved into the bolsters, which is really cool. I like that look. Typical Barlows had engraving on the bolsters, but they did not have any shield. If it was a jackknife, you'd have a shield there. But since this is a Barlow, there's no shield, and the identifying marks are usually on the bolsters. So yeah, satin finished blade, no etching. Even though this is Northfield unexcelled, we don't have mirror polished blades and we don't have etching on the blade, but that's also because this is a special factory order through Mike Latham. On the blade here, we have Northfield unexcelled, made in the USA. Turn it over. We have Great Eastern Cutlery, TIW for Titusville Ironworks, and 25-2117. These 25s you have to put at a half stop to be able to read all the marking on the tang of the blade. Once you bring these fully open, some of that writing gets put under the bolster, which is kind of funny, but that's just kind of one of the characteristics of a number 25, just because how small they are. I'll give you an idea of how small they are. This is a number 25 next to a number 15. Tom's Choice Barlow, and a number 77 Barlow. So yeah, the 25 is very small, but it's also, unlike the number 18, like the Coyote, or can't remember the other name of the number 18, but yeah, unlike the number 18, it is just as wide as these other Barlows. So although it's very short in handle length and blade length, it is still feels good in the hand, nice and ergonomic. You're only going to get a few fingers, about a 3-finger grip on that, but it's very ergonomic. That spear point blade is really nice. I'm not a huge fan of spear points, but this one works well. Nice long pull there. I don't think the Tid Ute had the long pull, so I'm glad I went with Mike Latham's special factory. I could be wrong. Yeah, the Tid Ute only had nail nicks, so I'm glad I have that long pull. You can't pinch this open because of the way the swedge is there, but with that long pull, makes it easy to open. Walk and talk. Yeah, you got about a 6. Yeah, about a 6, I'd say. It's not light, but it's not very heavy. Typical 25. Fit and finish is really good. There's nothing to detect between the covers and bolsters here. When we're open, we're completely flush. Like many 25s at half step, we're actually sunken a little bit on the back spring, which is kind of interesting, but that's just kind of how it goes with these 25s. And when we're closed, we're completely flush again. So, great fit and finish. Don't really feel anything catching here. Blade is centered very well. Back spring termination is pretty clean, pretty good. Looks great. Kind of wish those covers were a little bit lighter, as I saw on some of them, but I think I'll still keep this because I really like the way this looks. And I got rid of 125, and I kind of regretted it. It was with snake wood and a sheep's foot blade, and it was a special factory order through Gunstock Jacks. And I knew I had this one on the way, so yeah, I got rid of it. I think I do like this one a little bit better. I think I do, yeah. Still warming up to this one, but yeah, I really like the 25 pattern. Everything looks good in that blade well. GEC, always doing great work. Nice, small, pocketable pattern by GEC. And with that elongated bolster with the Barlow, it's going to make it a great knife. I think it's why these are so popular. And they've been popular. Number 25 pattern. There you go. I mean, these are all spoken for. Our secondary market is the only place to find any of them because there's no new from retailers anymore. That's number 25 pattern. This one is in Ironwood. Special factory order from Mike Latham over at collectorknives.net. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. Subscribe for more videos. As always, thanks for watching.